Good day, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you possible essay questions for paper 1 for Business Studies grade 12 for your November examination. So if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, like, and also click on that notification button so that you can be notified every time when we upload a new video. So let's get started. So business studies consist of two question papers, which is paper 1 and paper 2. So in this video, we're going to be focusing on paper 1. I'm going to do paper 2 or possible essay questions for paper 2. So here in paper 1, the topics is business environment and business operations, which means that all the questions that you're going to be answering will be based on these two topics. So under business environment, we have legislation, which are the acts, and then we have business strategies, and we also have business sectors and their environment. Under business operations, it's human resources function and quality of performance. So these are the topics that you should study, or the topics that you should look into when you are going to write your paper 1. So I'm going to start by showing you some of the questions under business environments. So I'm going to do part 2 where I show you the possible essay questions that you can expect under business operations. So what you can expect under business environment for your question, for your long question or your essay question, it's legislation. So under legislation, they can ask you to answer on any act, which means that when you are preparing for paper 1, you must make sure that you study the acts and you understand them. Because although it might not come as an essay question, they are definitely going to ask you questions based on acts in short questions. So it's very important for you to know and understand the acts. So you can see this second question is also based on the act, which is legislation. So here they are saying the person should answer based on the Basic Conditions of Employment Act. So they can bring any act. It can be Employment Equity Act. It can be any act. So it means when you are preparing, you should make sure that study all the acts so that in case they bring Labor Relations Act or Employment Equity Act, you are able to answer on it. And you can expect a question based on business strategies. So when they bring a question based on business strategies, it does not mean that every question is going to be the same. So they might give you different subtopics. For example, here the subtopic is strategic management process. They want you to explain how businesses could apply the following forces of Porter's 5 forces model, which is power of buyers and power of competitors. They want to discuss 3 types of intensive strategies, and also they want to advise businesses on the advantages of diversification strategies. So when we look at another question that is based on business strategies, you can see that the question, or they are not asking one to answer on the same questions or the subtopics. They do not provide the subtopics, the same subtopics as this ones. Because in business studies, the good thing is they give you the subtopics that you are supposed to discuss. Remember, we have your introduction, your body, and also conclusion. So under body, they give you subtopics, which means you are going to write your introduction, and then this is what you are going to discuss as your body. So it might be the same question, or it might be a same topic, which is business strategies, but the question that they want you to answer might be different. For example, here it's another one. They are saying the first one, describe the strategic management process. So you can see this question also starts with describing the strategic management process and also this one. But the following subtopics are different. So this means that when you study business strategies as well, you must study it as a whole and understand it so that when they bring any subtopic for you to discuss, you know that you will be able to do that. So firstly, you're going to write your introduction. When you're done, you're going to start discussing the subtopics that they've given to you to discuss. For example, with this question, your first subtopic to discuss, it means you're going to write strategic management process and you're going to describe that. And the second one will be three types of defensive strategies, and you are going to discuss that. And the third one will be the Porter's Five Forces model. You explain. And then the last one, it will be steps that could be considered when evaluating strategies. And then you're going to write those steps. And then you will be done and you get your 32 marks, right? Your 28 marks for discussing the subtopics. And then you will write your conclusion. For your conclusion, you write 1 point and you get 2 marks for that. Introduction is 2.2 marks. Conclusion, 1.2 marks. So I'm going to show you how to answer your essays correctly by answering this question here, which is based on strategies. So since we're going to be answering an essay question that is based on business strategies, we need to see and know what the focus of this essay is. And here they want you to discuss the importance of the strategic management process. And you are going to do this by discussing the subtopics that they've given unto us, which are business strategic process, the three types of defensive strategies, explaining how businesses could apply the Porter's Five Forces model, and also advising businesses on the steps they should consider when evaluating strategies. So, when you write your introduction, it means you need to know what strategic management process is. You need to understand what the process of strategic management entails. So, strategic management process basically means defining an organization strategy. So, this can also be defined as the process by which managers make a choice of a set of strategies for the organization that will enable it to achieve better performance. So, for your first point on your introduction, you can say businesses should always conduct the strategic management process as they operate in a dynamic environment that pose many challenges. So, as we know that this environment poses many challenges, it means that businesses need to be ready to conquer or to overcome these challenges by making sure that there is a strategic management process in place. And for your second point, you can say that the implementation of business strategies enable businesses to respond to challenges presented by business environments, right? So, in order for you to write your introduction, basically you need to understand what a business is and you need to understand what business strategies are, and therefore you know what business strategic management process entails. And with that you'll be able to write or to introduce your essay. Yeah, so any point that you write under your essay, it has to do with business strategies, how the business strategies can assist businesses to do well or to overcome challenges, or the importance of strategic management process. So whatever you're going to write which will address the importance of strategic management process or overcoming challenges using business strategies will be a good point under your introduction. And then we move on to write or to discuss our first subheading that is provided to us in the essay question, and that is the strategic management process. So the first step in strategic management process is to review the vision statement. What is the vision, or what is a business vision? That is a goal that a business um, wants to achieve, or where the business is supposed to be in the future. That is the vision. So you cannot start a business without a vision, because you need to know where you're going. So without a vision, it means you be everywhere and you be doing everything and you will get nowhere. So you need to know where you want to be, or you need to know where you're going. You need to know what you want to see as a business person. So the first step is to review the vision statement. So the vision statement basically describes what a company desires to achieve in the long run. Reviewing the vision is all about creating a roadmap to help you achieve your vision. And so before you go further, you need to clarify what your company wants to achieve so that you know how to get there. So the next step is to analyze and re-examine the mission statement. So the difference between the vision statement and the mission statement is that the mission statement is what your company is doing right now, while your mission statement is what you hope to achieve in the future. For example, with your mission statement, we can say that it's more like a person asking you, what do you do? And you say, I sell seeds to farmers. And they ask you, where do you see yourself in 10 years, right? And you say, in 10 years, I see myself owning a big farm where I plant different vegetables and fruits, and getting to produce more seeds and selling these seeds to more companies, etc. So your mission is what gets you to the vision statement. And the next step is to conduct an environmental analysis using different models. So, what this means is that before you can define strategies and tactics, you need to know where you stand currently. And that include internal factors such as your location, the structure and talent, as well as external factors such as competition and market forces. So this will help you to know how to plan, so that you know who your competitors are, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, you know the opportunities that you have as a business. So, after reviewing the vision statement, analyzing or re examining your mission statement, conducting an environmental analysis, you then have to write your strategic plan or to formulate a strategy. This can be a defensive or retrenchment strategy. Okay, now that you have a strategy in plan, you need to now implement that strategy. So this means that you will need to secure any resources that you're going to need. This means you will need to check the resources you have, the budget, and approvals necessary to execute the plan. This might also mean that you need to delegate the work. You need to find people that are going to actually be in charge of the plan. You need to launch the plan. So basically, after formulating your plan or writing down the plan, you actually get to work. That's where you begin to work by doing what? By implementing that plan. So, after implementing the strategy, you need to now control or evaluate or monitor the implemented strategy. This will help you to identify the gaps and deviations in implementation. And then finally, you need to take corrective action to ensure goals and objectives are met. So we're moving on to discuss the second subtopic, which is types of defensive strategies. So this is a tool that management uses to defend their business from potential competitors. So in other words, this is a battleground where you have to fight and protect your market share by keeping your customers happy and stabilizing your profit. So the first type of defensive strategy is divestiture. So, divestiture is a type of retrenchment strategy where you re examine the asset of your business and company. If the assets aren't serving anymore, you then sell them off. This helps businesses to reduce their expenses. So, here you can say that disposing or selling some assets or divisions that are no longer profitable or productive. So the second one is liquidation, and this is selling all assets to pay creditors due to lack of capital. So the first one, it's where the business sells some of the assets, and with liquidation, they sell everything in order for them to pay creditors. And the last one is retrenchment. So retrenchment basically is terminating the employment contract of some employees for operational reasons. So when a business is no longer doing well, they might decide to then um, terminate the contracts of their employees so that they can cut down their costs. And we move on to discuss the Porter's Five Forces model. And the first one is the bargaining power of suppliers. So, your point under the power of suppliers or the bargaining power of suppliers, you can say that suppliers that deliver high quality product may have power over the business. So, because of the product that they deliver. Remember that customers want quality products. So if the supplier knows that they're delivering quality, they may have an advantage and they can try to control or they can have power over the business. And we have bargaining power of buyers or power of buyers. So here, as a business person, you need to assess how easy it is for buyers or customers to drive prices down. And we have threat or barriers of new entries to the market. And here you can write that if the barriers to enter the market are low, then it is easy for new businesses to enter the market or industry. And we have power of competitors. And here you can say that competitors selling the same or similar products or services may have a greater impact on the market of the business. So obviously, if you have people that are selling the same thing that you're selling, they may have a greater impact on the market, especially if those people decide to sell whatever that you're selling at a lower price, or they have better marketing strategies. It means that they will have a greater impact in the market. And then we'll move on to threat of substitution. So when writing your point here, you can say um, the business owner needs to establish whether the sellers of substitute products have improved their product or they sell their product at a lower price, and if their product is of low quality. So let's say that when we speak of substitute products, we can say that you are selling peanut butter and there's someone else who's selling jam. So customers may replace or substitute buying your peanut butter with buying the jam from the competitor. So you need to see whether the product that the competitor is selling it's of good quality and if they're selling it at a lower price. And finally, you must discuss the steps in evaluating a strategy. So remember, after implementing your strategy, you have to evaluate the strategy. So, strategy evaluation is the process by which a company reviews and assesses the effectiveness and efficiency of its strategic plan. So here the first step is to examine the underlying basis of a business strategy. And the second step is to look forward and backward into the implementation process. The third step is to compare the expected performance with the actual performance. The third step is to measure the business performance in order to determine the reasons for deviations and analyze these reasons. And finally, you have to take corrective action so that the deviations may be corrected. And then you are done discussing. You now have to write your conclusion. And remember, for your conclusion, you only write 1 point, and for that 1 point, you will get your 2 marks. So, your conclusion is more like after all that you have discussed, what have you learned? I've learned that the strategic management process enables businesses to stay ahead of their competitors, and this also increase their market share. And then you get 2 points for that. And for your discussion, you will get 32 marks. The other 8 marks comes from inside, which is interpretation. It's the layout of your essay. It's examples or originality. It's synthesis. So you get 2 marks for all that, and it's going to be 8. And then you will get your 40 marks for your essay. And I'm going to be doing part 2, where I'm going to be discussing possible essay questions for paper 1 under business operations. So if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please subscribe, like, and also click on that notification button so that you can be notified every time when I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching.